Now we are going to discuss about the life cycle of Lycopodium and life cycle of Selaginella. Life cycle is quite simple as much of the things I already discussed in the previous video. So here in this video what we are going to discuss is about the sporophytic generation. Sporophytic generation starts with the rhizome, which I previously told. It had rhizome basically and sterobolus. Now sterobolus is basically sporangium containing spore mother cells. Sporangium containing the spore mother cells. Spore mother cells undergo Sperm cells are diploid which undergo meiotic division, as a result of which they cause to produce haploid spores. These haploid spores, in case of Lycopodium, would not be heterospores. These would be same kinds of spores. Hence, this would be considered as homospory rather than heterospory. These would be considered as homospory, and as a result of homospory, there would be haploid spores produced, which would be dispersed from the sterobolus through wind. Through wind, these would be dispersed, after which the spore mother cells undergo meiosis to produce the spores. These would be dispersed through wind, and when they would be landing on a specific surface which is suitable for this growth, they will start to grow the gametophyte. Let's suppose if there is growth of male gametophyte, um, if there is growth of male gametophyte, then there would be antheridium and archegonium on. And then if there's one more thing, that most of these are bisexual. These are bisexual, monoecious. Um, so antheridium, they have antheridium as well as archegonium, male and female gametophyte. So antheridium is spawns, archegonia egg. Now, this is a structure which we call as a prothallus, which is mostly associated with mycorrhizal association, and is photosynthetic as well, mostly underground, but independent of sporophyte. Now, within the Antheridium, the movement of sperms occur to spermatozoids and zoozoids occur towards the ovum in the Archegonium, where the fertilization takes place, and upon fertilization, it causes to produce a zygote, which, upon repeated mitotic division, causes to produce embryo, and from embryo, there is arisal of a sporophyte, which causes to produce microphyte, which is again going to produce sporangia in the form of sterobili. It is again going to form sporangia sterobili in the form of sterobili. So this sterobili will again, consider the haploid spores that the division of chromosomes, and then ultimately there would be the entire cycle going on. So in that sense, we've got a clear idea of Selaginella as well. That Selaginella would be similar as well, but there would be few of the differences over here. Yes. So over here, sporophyte, again, sperm cell will undergo meiosis, producing the haploid spores. These haploid spores are present within the sterobolus. Now, due to wind, it would be dispersed into any suitable soil. One more thing that I like to highlight over here is that they have microsporophile and megasporophile, which means that the microspores produced will germinate into a male gametophyte, while megaspores produced in the megasporophilous leaves would be germinated into a female gametophyte. So this is how both conditions will occur. There will be separate kinds of spores, due to which we call this as heterosporous or heterosporic. Microspores and megaspores are diverse which that make now microspore will independently develop into male gametophyte, and megaspore will develop into female gametophyte, producing archegonia, and a male gametophyte will be producing sperm and archegonia upon fusion will also produce zygote inside the retained inside the archegonium, due to which this will cause to produce a zygote, which upon repetitive divisions will produce embryo, which will again produce a sporophyte upon repetitive division, and thus this structure will be formed. Now, this is a point that I wanted to highlight over here, that these are having heterosporous alternation of generation, while Lycopodium are having homosporous alternation of generation. And the previous alternation of generation which we saw in bryophytes was the alternation of generation in which sporophyte was a sporophyte was less dominant, while the gametophyte was conspicuous or more dominant, due to which the the diploid generation was sorry due to which we can say that the haploid generation was dominant over the diploid generation. Haploid generation was dominant over diploid generation. Haploid generation dominant over diploid generation, due to which we called that type of alternation of generation as haplodiplo alternation of generation, in which haploid generation was dominant over the diploid generation. But if we talk about this type of alternation of generation, in this type of alternation of generation, we have the diploid generation dominant over haploid generation. Even though haploid generation is independent of the diploid generation, the haploid generation is still less conspicuous, less showcaseable, due to which we simply call this as a diplo-haplo alternation of
You want
generation,
more?
due to which it will be considered as the
हाँ है ना,
diplo-haplo alternation of generation.
हाँ है ना, दूसरी चाहिए नहीं चाहिए?
ये YouTube पे जाए diplo-haplo alternation of generation. So this is another point that I wanted to present over here. Apart from which, this is a diplo-haplo alternation of generation, and these are the two types of alternation of generation present over here. Within the heteromorphous alternation of generation, we have got two kinds, which are the haplo-diplo alternation of generation and diplo-haplo alternation of generation. This type of alternation of generation is diplo-haplo alternation of generation. Now onwards, in all of the tracheophytes, we are having diplo-haplo alternation of generation. Apart from which, we are going to discuss a few things as well, a few other things as well. All right. So these are the things that I wanted to mention over here. Yes, one more thing, that Lycopsida are also known as club mosses or spike mosses. Why do we call them as club mosses or spike mosses? Because their sterobili structure, because their aggregated sporangia sterobili look like clubs or spikes, due to which we call them as club or spike mosses. And why do we call them mosses? Because they have small leaves, microphytes, as a result of which these are small these microphytes which look similar to the leaves of mosses, due to which we call this as club mosses or spike mosses. So this is what we are going. This is all about the Lycopsida. Now we are going to discuss in next video about the Spinocyda.